Hi everyone, it's Nelia. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about curly hair, which I had before I cut it all off and before I was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4, Hodgkin's lymphoma. But today I did an interview with a friend of mine called Angelique, and I want to share it with you guys. So stay tuned for that. Happy Saturday. I know it's nice outside. I think that my background looks fake, guys, but it's not fake. That's my window right there. I'm here listening to salsa while I wait. She's joining now. Hi, my love.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So nice to
Espérate, que
see
no te oigo
you.
bien.
I'm so sorry about the noises around here. My neighbor is really.
No, it's me. I had the thing low.
Oh, okay.
My background looks fake, but it's not.
Yeah, that's what I thought for a second when I looked. I was like, wait, what? It looks. Really nice.
It's not fake. It's I live in White Plains, so that's my view.
It's beautiful. You
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're just waiting to let some other people join, and then we'll start.
Sounds good. I'm so excited.
Did you just
see you, even if it's just through FaceTime or
I know. I'm dying for all of this to finish, because it was like, first I couldn't go out much because of what I'm going through, the cancer and stuff. And now it's like you can't go out because of what's going on out there. So I can't see people.
Oh, I know. I understand you. And I actually wanted to say to you that I was looking at all of your journey, and I was looking at all the videos, and I think you're very, very inspirational. And I just want to thank you for actually showcasing on YouTube what it is about, because I honestly had no idea. And by going into the YouTube videos and, understanding what you went through, and, I feel like it's going to help so many people. And it's super empowering to see what you're doing and that you're taking this, and turning into something positive in order to help other people.
Oh, so, thank you so much, my love. That means the world to me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just want to, help as much as I can. And if there's anything, I'm always here for you.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's why I said let's do this live, because I need help. My hair, look at it. I mean, look at my curls. They're coming back.
Yeah,
though.
I see the waves. Yeah.
They're coming back. They're coming back. So I'm excited, but I know that it takes a while for it to come back. And I was just hoping that you would enlighten us. I mean, let's start with, how long have you been going through your journey with your hair?
So me and my hair, I basically always let it type of curly, but I never quite used the right products, or I wasn't quite like straight on forward with my routines. I was just in between, like making it straight all the time and doing it curly. So I just started doing dip conditionings about 5 years ago, when I came across it was one of the influencers that came. I was just going on Instagram, and I was like, you know what, like it was serve as an inspiration for me to say, you know what, maybe I don't need to straighten my hair, and I can just go into a more natural lifestyle, and then that's when I started looking at more healthier ingredients, and actually seeing things that might work for me. So it's been about 5 years that I basically started to say, I'm just going to use natural hair products, and I'm just going to stick to my journey.
Awesome. So I have a few questions for you to ask. What are your tips for growing your curly hair?
I actually have quite a lot of tips, because I feel like everyone it works differently for people, for hair growth. And I think it all starts like in your insides, are you eating enough nutrients? I think that's where everyone should start, because I feel like you grow just like plants, like by watering, nurturing plants, and having the right soil and the nutrients, they tend to grow. So I feel like that's a right way to look at hair growth. So if you're able to, to drink enough water throughout the day, making sure that you're not like a nutrient deficiency, you feel like you might be, eating things, I think it's a good way to start there. And so I drink a lot of water. I think I drink about like 6 of these a day or so.
Cheers.
Maybe more. Hey. So I definitely drink a lot of water in the day. I feel like whenever I don't eat like my veggies and stuff like that, which is quite often, I tend to go with like supplements or multivitamins that might work for me. But other than that, in the outside, what I do a lot of the times is using castor oil, which I actually stopped using because I didn't want my hair to grow any longer. So I was using it to, yeah, it was just like, that's it, too much. And my mom was like, Angeli, what are you doing? So yeah, I was using it with like dip conditioners. I would make my own like DIY one, because at the beginning, this journey is a little sometimes expensive because it's like so many products that, you know, you start, it's like a trial and error thing. So I started using castor oil, and I started mixing my own dip conditioners with like mayonnaise and like, you know, different things like that. And so by using that castor oil, even just like rubbing a little bit on my hands and doing a little scalp massages, I feel like that worked. Other things that I feel like it's so essentially important is like scalp massages, like I was doing with the castor oil, but also with essential oils. Let me know if I'm talking too fast, because sometimes I get like,
no, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. I'm sure some people are like writing notes. Okay, castor oil. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna save it, and she'll save it on her stories too, so that you guys can come back and write those things down.
Yeah. They can actually ask questions as well. If you feel like I'm talking too fast, let me know, and you know, just say any type, you know, questions. I'm here to answer them. So other than the castor oil, I was also using essential oils, which I'm still using now. I would do like scalp massages in the morning and at nighttime.
So what are essential oils?
Essential oils are basically herbs that are steam distilled. So they're basically concentrated versions of herbs. So they kind of just have to be a little careful with them because they tend to be very strong. It's almost like taking a plant and just literally like extracting everything from it without adding anything else in it. So it tends to be very strong. So that's why I only use probably a couple of drops, where I would put into my hand and rub it, or use it with diluted oils. I would use like jojoba oil, argan oil, even coconut oil if it works for you. I would just put like 1 or 2 drops in my hand. I rub it a little bit, and then I go in and do like scalp massages, and that just helps to like stimulate the blood circulation around your scalp, and it just helps your hair to grow faster. And I feel like it's so much. I feel like essential oils might actually work a little better than regular oils because they don't have that oily consistency. And some of the essential oils I've been using are being like I saw you using tea tree oil, right?
Yes.
So that's one of them. I really like tea tree. I feel like it has so many good properties in it. Other ones that I've also used are rosemary oil. That one works for me, works for my mom, and it works for a lot of people as well. I'm so sorry. I'm telling you my neighbor.
It's okay. You live in New York City. That's what happens. Yeah. You're outside enjoying this nice weather that we have today.
I have to go outside and take some good air because, you know, it's, yeah.
Exactly. You don't get to do that right now, so don't worry about it. So, can you talk about the different hair types? So I remember when I started my curly hair journey, because it took me about a year to grow it out to where it used to be. So I remember going in and you know, it's like this whole world of learning. And they were like, okay, you have type 3B or 3C. Can you talk a little bit about the different types?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm definitely not a hair expert, and I just, you know, from what I learned and from what I see and all the pictures, I tend to look at hair types, like the different hair patterns, such as like depending on the shrinkage and the not the density, but the diameter of the hair. No, so porosity and hair textures are kind of different. So let's say we're gonna talk about different hair types, such as 1A, 1B, and then 2B, 3, and 4. It mostly has to do with how much your hair shrinks. So let's say, so someone that has, let's say, a type 1 hair, it tends to be very straight. It's mostly just straight hair, completely straight hair. Then when we go into 2A, 2B, and 2C, it's just like when the wave's starting to form.
Yeah, that's like my daughter's hair, because she just has wavy hair.
Right. So that wave that comes in, it could be from 2A to 2C, and it tends to be kind of wavy. When we go into 3, that's when we start to see like this really nice waves. Some of them are like really large, and some of them, I would say I'm more between 3B and 3C and 4A. And when we go into 4A, it tends to be very, very kinky. Like, I think the only reason why I say my hair is 4A is because it's only this section here. It just
I was
shrinks
gonna say, don't
it
like
shrinks way
mixed
more
people usually have two types of hair, right? Because
right.
when I had mine, like I had 3A like on the front and like 3C in the back. So
I feel like mhm.
how do you style that?
That's actually all trial and error. I feel like I mean,
Okay.
I do notice that I have like really tight hair here and I have like 3B here. I've honestly just tried to use one product, but I did put it into my calendar to try and using different products and basically styling my hair with probably like one product for this section and another product for the back, because they do tend to work differently. Like today I used the product, it worked really well up here, but my hair starting to look dry on this side. And I feel like it is so mind-boggling because I mean it's pretty interesting too how our genetics work, how we all tend to have sometimes different hair textures, and it could be completely different ones from different sides of our heads. So I get from like from the back, even back here are completely different. I have like I would say 3B around here and then like 4A on the front, like I was saying. But it's kind of hard sometimes because depending also on the weather, it just changes. And not only is the hair type different, but also when it comes to the porosity, like I have different types of porosity in my head and I wasn't really aware of it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sometimes like it's just so much information for you to know when you're when using like hair products and going natural. And we're all still learning, it's all a journey for sure. Yeah. So that's what I know about like the hair types from 1 to 4. It all depends on how much your hair shrinks. So if your hair shrinks a lot, that means you have between 4 to 4A and 4C. If you have like nice waves and like really thick I would say like really thick and rounded curly hair, it tends to be
Like looser.
and then looser goes into 2, where it has like those nice waves.
Got it. Angelique, who is your name twin, said she has 3 kinds of hair of hair types in her head.
Yes, that's me too.
Oh my goodness. So I wanted to ask you, what is your wash and go? And for those that don't know, please explain the wash and go.
So wash and go, it could be a long explanation, and it sounds so short. It's like we just wash it, whoops, and go.
Right? I tell people all the time, no, it doesn't work. It's not that easy.
It's not that easy. I'm trying to switch up that word because it's really wash, tangle, dip, condition, style, then go. It's like
so many steps. It's not just
so
wash and go.
Right. I feel like I try not to say that word very often. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing my hair, so it's gonna take me the whole day.
Yeah, to me, it's like right now I have a wash and go because I just wash and go. Literally, I don't have to do anything, right? But I remember when I had my hair longer, it was such a process. Yeah. And then I didn't even like it day 1. I liked day 2, but day 1 I didn't like it. So what are you using now?
So right now, first thing I did, I wash my hair. Sometimes I do cold washes where I use like hair cleansers that tend to be more softer on the hair, that may be closer to like a conditioner. So I will use that when probably like once or twice a month. And then I would use an actual shampoo that would remove or build up and anything that might be on top of my hair. And then I go in and use a conditioner to detangle my hair. Today I used something completely different from the regular products I use. So I feel like it kind of, feels different in my head today. But after I detangle, I dip condition. And the thing with my hair is that since it's really dry, I have to dip condition every time I wash my hair. So if I wash it once a week, I basically dip condition once a week with either like a regular moisturizing dip conditioner or a protein-rich dip conditioner.
So how often do you wash your hair? Because I remember dreading it.
So I think it mostly depends on, on your hair. Like if you have like oily hair or like, dry hair, I feel like for me, it's better to use shampoo. I mean, I wash it once a week and I dip condition once a week as well. So if I wash my hair more than once a week, it tends to get even drier. So I just try to keep dip conditioning once a week.
So let's talk. You were talking before about oils and essential oils. Can you talk about the difference between oil for shining and oil for moisturizer? So there's 2, right? There's 2 different types.
Yes, yeah. So the difference between those is mostly it has to do with, well, the let's talk about the shiny in the hair. That has more to do with like the reflection of light going
Okay.
into your hair strands. So it doesn't quite mean that your hair might be like healthy. Sometimes it can mean that you're putting just oils on top of your hair and it might not even going inside like the cuticle. And it doesn't mean that it's probably damaged or anything. It just means that it's just a reflection of the light going across, your hair, and it just looks shiny. So I can either use, some people use glaze. I used it once and it quite didn't work for me because I feel like it just sat on top of my hair and it took out the actual oils. So it was just, it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
But it works for some people. So that's what I would call shiny hair. And I
Okay.
would use like oils maybe like at the end of my wash and go to put it on top. And then moisture has to do, I think, more with like water molecules and how you're using like different products to moisturize your hair. So it has to do more with like, let's say you're using different products that will just nourish your hair and give it some type of nourishment, like just make it feel like it giving it the hydration it needs, rather than just giving it the shyness that might just stay on top of your hair. But I think everything is a balance of both. So some people like to look extremely defined, and they try to use different products and then top it off with an oil like I do, or yeah, this is, I feel like I prefer to have my hair moisturized, because that's when that your hair might be like taking care of your hair, for example. So I think that might be like a good way to go. First, like moisturizing your hair, and then if you want to define it, using like a gel or an oil.
Okay. And you said that you wanted to keep your hair short. And I noticed that you cut your hair. So
Yes.
why did you cut it? Because your hair was way longer than what it is
Yeah,
now.
it was a little way too long. It was like down here, and I do love my hair, and I think that it's a part of who we are, but it doesn't quite define us. And if I really wanted to cut it shorter, then then how I actually cut it, because sometimes it does get on the way of you doing things, and I feel like it's a lot of maintenance. So I was in between school, and I was like, what, I sort of need to cut my wash and go in half. And although it's like it's growing a little too much right now, I feel like I want to get another haircut. So yeah, I feel like I want to cut it again. I feel like it's quite long.
How do you feel about the undercut that you did?
I actually really liked it, and I feel like it grew pretty fast. Like it's probably the same length as the rest of my hair right now.
Oh, wow.
After I cut it, so this one grew in about like 2 years, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I would do it again.
I
My
liked
mom
it. I
didn't
thought
cut
it was nice, especially because it allowed you to like put your hair up, and then you have this,
right.
and then like it didn't, yeah, it didn't really take away from your length either, because your hair was fine. So we have a question. Any tips for keeping curls hydrated during the week?
I feel like it's essential to do dip conditioners and to figure out like what type of hair type you have. Like if you have, depending on your porosity, if you're able to abstain enough moisture, or if you need protein, if you try to keep a balance between both. And also, I think moisturizing your hair with dip conditioners is the best way to do it, actually. Yeah.
How do you find out the porosity of your hair? Because I remember I had that problem.
I feel like that's one of the toughest things, maybe just for me, but I'm pretty sure it's probably for other people. The porosity has to do with your hair and the cuticle of the hair. So there's different types. There's basically different layers to your hair. You have the cuticle, which is the outermost layer. Then you have the cortex, and then you have the medulla, which is like right deep inside your hair. The porosity has to do with the cuticle of the hair, which is sitting outside, like the outermost layer. And that just is there's going to be three different types. There's going to be one that is the low porosity, which is the one that the cuticle tends to be way too close, so it doesn't allow moisture to go in or out of the hair. Then you have medium porosity, which I kind of invite people that have medium porosity, because I feel like it might be you don't have to do much with your hair when you have that, because if you have it right in the middle, you can take moisture in, you can lose moisture. It just but mostly you're able to have that balance between both. And then high porosity is when your cuticles are like way too open, so it's hard for you to keep moisture inside, and it's hard for it, and it's easy to leave. So it's like you have like so it's kind of hard to determine that. But I feel like the best way to see which type you have is to use the water test. I think it's called water cup test, where you use a cup with water and you place one strand of hair. It needs to be clean hair so that, because if it has products in it, it might not really work well because of the cuticle. So if you put it inside the water, if it floats, you have low porosity, which means your cuticles are pretty close. If you have medium porosity, it's going to be in the middle of the cup. And then if you have high porosity, it's going to be on the bottom.
Okay.
And what that kind of means is, like, if you have, let's say, low porosity, I realized that the water tends to drip out of your hair quicker. I've also noticed that with high porosity, the hair tends to get frizzy. It tends to get really dry. It's hard to keep in moisture. So I think around here I have high porosity. Like, it's hard for me to really keep in the moisture. And I always try to use things that have cold water, for example, that allow it to close down. And then, so I think it's important to sort of figure out what type of porosity you have so that you can use like the right water temperature, so you can use the right products.
Wait. Mm-hmm. Temperature of the water?
Yes, that's important. Okay, so if you have low porosity, your cuticles are gonna be pretty closed, which means you need them to be open in order to penetrate inside of your hair.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use warm water when you're washing your hair, it's gonna slightly open so that you can get rid of, let's say, buildup or or anything like that. So I would tend to use, let's say, cold water that's for high porosity. Sorry. So I would tend to use warm water if you have high porosity. So
yeah, because the moisture doesn't go in if you have high.
Right. So you use sort of warm water too, so that you can have enough, so you can sort of open and then apply the products. And then if you have high porosity, I would use really cold water so that your cuticles will be able to close a little better.
Got it.
That makes sense. Let me know because I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it's sort of like from my heart to my mouth, just
no, it makes sense. It's just that I've had to research that a bunch of times because it's like, okay, so what is high porosity again? What is low porosity again? It's like,
it's just a lot of information, and it's sometimes hard to determine that because for example, I thought I had first low porosity, which is what I was telling all of my followers. And then what I did was I realized that the strand I took was from the bottom. And then not long ago, I decided to take a strand from the front of my hair, and I placed it on there, and it actually went all the way to the bottom. And actually, one time it went to the bottom of a cup, which meant I had high porosity, and then the other strand went to the top, which meant I had two different types of porosity on my head. And I'm like, wow, now I need to probably break my head into using protein and moisture. So it's like,
Angeli asked if you use coconut oil or honey oil in your hair ever.
So I have been using, I was using coconut oil mostly when I started my hair journey, and I felt like it was working great. But honestly, I feel like I prefer to use all the oils like jojoba, avocado oil.
Sorry, I turned this around.
Other ones, almond oil. That's okay.
Almond oil, jojoba oil.
Right. I wrote them. So avocado oil, almond oil, jojoba oil. I feel like might be working a little better than coconut oil because I do know that it doesn't work for everybody. Some people actually say that it might make their hair drier than using anything else. So I feel like I think avocado and almond oil tends to work mostly for people, if I'm not mistaken.
What about honey?
Honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of my favorites to use, especially if I'm gonna do like a DIY dip conditioner. I tend to use honey or agave nectar, which are great for moisturizing the hair and just giving it moisture and hydration. And I feel like it's one of the best things to use because I feel like it also allows to seal in moisture. Okay. It's one of the, it just helps to leave it nice inside of the hair.
So if your hair is really dry, honey is like amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing for dry hair. Yeah.
Good. So I saw your YouTube videos, and I told you, and I'm going to tell you now live, I want you to do more.
Oh.
Because we need to know how to process our hair, It's not easy. And
I'm honestly pretty shy, and I'm trying to get used to, when I'm in, one-to-one type of person, and I'm like, I'm outgoing. But when it comes to speaking to a lot of people, I'm like, but I'm trying to get over that this year and just, help as much as I can. So as soon as I'm done with school, which is probably going to be in less than a month, I'm definitely going to try. Yeah.
What are you studying?
I'm studying biology.
Okay. And what's your goal? Where are you going with biology?
So I love the brain and the nervous system. and I love everything that has to do with like cellular molecular stuff. So I'm hoping to go either for a master's or a PhD in neuroscience.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to school and I'll be done next fall. This fall. I'll graduate this fall. I have like 2 classes left. So I'm excited too.
What's your major again?
I do information security. I do computer science. I work with computers, so that's what I do. There was a few questions here. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look. What about castor oil? I don't think she was in when you were talking about castor oil before.
Okay, so castor oil is one of the first oils I also started using in my journey when I was transitioning, because I also noticed I had like hair that I wanted to grow and I wanted to get rid of like some of the ends. So I started using castor oil and mixing it with different different things as conditioners, and that's when I actually saw a big difference in my hair growth. So I feel like it's one of the main oils I would use if I wanted to really, grow out my hair.
And
so
then
castor oil,
Angeli said, when do you use avocado oil? And Angeli, you can keep asking questions. It's fine.
She's so cute. I feel like I can't see them. Like they keep just going on.
No, it's okay. I got you. I got them in order.
Okay, so avocado oil, I use them when I'm gonna do DIYs, or because I feel like it might just be me, but I feel like it has a little scent to it. So I would use it mostly for deep conditioner, so I can just rinse it out. Since I think almond oil and jojoba oil don't have such a strong scent as well as argan oil. So I would use it to seal in moisture as well at the end of my wash and go, or even after I dry my hair, I would just, to seal in moisture. But the avocado oil, we just mostly use it for deep conditioners.
And then Jandali is asking if there's any tips for those starting their hair journey.
For those of you starting your hair journey, I would say it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of love. And I think apart from the patience, you just got to know that it's going to be, it just depends where you're standing in your journey. I feel like if you need to have like more, if you want to have your hair like more moisturized and you want it to come like a natural pattern, it's essential to use zip conditioners. I feel like I keep pushing that to everybody, and I'm like, I know people that always mention me and they always messaging me asking me about, oh my gosh, my hair's so dry and I don't know what to do. I'm like, are you deep conditioning? And they're like, I just have so many things to do. I'm like, I understand. Like I've gone through the same thing, but I feel like it's essential to the conditioners because it will nourish your hair and it will allow it to go back to its natural state.
So I have a question about the deep conditioning because it's a hassle to put in to wash your hair and then put in the deep conditioner and then go back again in the shower and rinse it out. So do you have any tips on that? Like, I don't want to be going back and forth.
So what I do is, since I'm kind of weird, I feel a little uncomfortable taking a shower and washing my hair at the same time because I feel like it just gets stuck in my body and I'm like, I don't want it to be like that. So I tend to just like let my hair, wash my hair, lift the conditioner on, and then come like half an hour or an hour later to rinse it off. But I don't like completely get like my whole body in it because I would be like, oh my God. Like,
and Jandali's like, yeah, me too. And then the other question I have here is, does honey work for all hair type?
I feel like it will mostly work for dry hair, but like I was saying prior, I feel like everything is trial and error. It might work for me and it might not work for other people, but from what I've heard of and the people that I have spoken to that might have different hair types, it has worked for them. So I would say like it doesn't hurt to try. Like it will always give you more benefits than it will affect you, negatively at all.
So I remember when I started, when I had hair, when I started my hair, let my curls out kind of thing, journey. And because Jandali said, I'm at a stage where I do not miss my straight hair or the heat, which is very important because I had to go a whole year without applying any heat to my hair, none whatsoever. I know, though, you're guilty of applying heat on the diffuser.
That mostly happens when I have to rush out of my house, and I have done it, but I'm trying my hardest not to do it. And if I do, I probably only do it like once a month. I do use the diffuser, but I try to use it in low heat So it's basically not really heat, it's just like cold air. But the heat I would mostly use it on the winter, let's say if I don't want to go out with my hair wet. And I tend to try keep it very, very low.
So
Yeah.
I want you to do a video on the diffuser, because every time I try to do the diffuser, I just don't know how to work it.
Okay.
I don't.
All right,
I don't
I'm
understand.
gonna write that down.
And then someone was asking any tip for men who are thinning
hair.
thinning hair. Let's talk about thinning hair.
Let's see. From what I know, essential oils. That's actually mostly what I've read with thinning hair. I've seen and I've used products that have essential oils. From what I've read, mostly and from what I've heard from people, essential oils such as tea tree and rosemary tend to also help with thinning of hair, and also with growing out hair, since that allows like better circulation, and it just helps strengthen your hair and gives it properties like good healthy properties for the hair.
So I think that for me, when I talked about tea tree oil, the other benefit for me, because I was itching everywhere, was that it helped with the itching of the scalp for me. So I loved the tea tree oil for that.
I know that's like one of the best things too. I feel like it has such a nice scent, and it's like such an invigorating feeling when it's just like it feels so good. It's amazing. Yeah.
Dandeli wants to know, how do you obtain those curls volume? She has a lot of hair.
Thank you for that. Honestly, deep down, I feel like it's partially my genetics. Even if I try to not leave my hair like very voluminous, but can't quite say
voluminous, right?
But there you go, voluminous.
Yeah, it's okay. We're gonna say our English is not very good looking.
Not very good looking, but I'm trying. So I would mostly use like the diffuser. I feel like it's one of the main things that makes my my hair voluminous. And what else? Oh, and using a hair pick. So whenever my hair doesn't look as big, is because I usually don't use hair pick, or I didn't diffuse it as often. So right now I haven't picked my hair. I will go maybe a little bigger once I like pick it and use the diffuser. And I'll definitely make a video, showing how I diffuse my hair for those.
Yeah, because it's just for me, and I'm trying to do it for my daughter, because I know that will help her with the volume. I know the diffuser helps with volume, especially with her that has, just waves. But I give up. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I'm just gonna give up. And she's like, I want curly hair like you, mommy. Drop my other phone. And I was like, I love you, but do you understand the maintenance that it takes to have hair like me? I mean, I love it, but it's so much maintenance. Any tips to keep your hair from tangling while you're asleep? Or any tips to keep your hair from tangling while sleeping? What do you mean not? I'm confused. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, from not tangling? So the main thing I would say is using a satin pillowcase on our scarf. And I mostly use like the satin bonnet and the satin pillowcase, because I feel like it not only allows your hair to last longer, but it also prevents like hair breakage and also like a lot of tangles. It also depends, because let's see, I feel like it's also good to like massage your hair, but some people experience more tangling than others, especially if you have like high porosity hair. People that have high porosity tend to have more tangling on the hair. But those are some of the tips that I know for not having a lot of tangles when you.
So the other thing is that I've always watched everywhere is, after you wash your hair, you have to dry it with either a t-shirt or a microfiber towel.
Yeah.
And that's to prevent what exactly?
That's mostly to prevent the frizz. So I don't quite use the microfiber towel, because I know that it's kind of comes from plastic, and I'm trying to minimize my plastic usage. So I try to use a cotton shirt. I feel like that's the one that works the best for me, and it just helps to not give you a lot of frizz and also breakage that people might experience when just using a regular towel. I feel like it was one of the best things I did when I started transitioning, was switching my towel to a regular cotton shirt.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that I had to do. And then my shirts were just too small for my hair. And I was like, all right. And like I took like a year or two before I even grabbed a microfiber towel, because I was like, but the cotton thing does it the same. But for me, it was just more like out of convenience. And I was like, this is better.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I mean, the cotton shirt, I tend to have like a couple of really big ones, and that I use that. But the microfiber towel works the same way.
It does. I'm gonna have to go back
That's
to
a really
that.
good question. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back to that. I have, and I know we're talking about supplements, but do you recommend any particular supplements? And the reason I wanted to ask you that is because I was taking biotin, and I was taking prenatal vitamins to try to grow my hair. And the prenatal vitamins were great. The biotin did this to me. I break out. I cannot take biotin.
Wow.
So I know
didn't
that a
expect
lot
that.
of the hair
Yeah.
supplements have biotin in it, but for me, it breaks me out.
So that's a pretty good point. I feel like it's always important to see. It's mostly trial and error. I feel like I say that with products as well as with supplements. One of the first things I would do is like see if you have any type of deficiency, and also make sure that it's okay for you to take, especially with a doctor, because you don't want to I know it's only vitamins or minerals, but you don't want to contradict anything you might be taking with the supplements. And I didn't think that the biotin would do that, because I heard that, I do know it's a water water soluble. B vitamins are water soluble, so that means that whatever your body takes and whatever your body needs, it takes, and whatever it doesn't, it just flushes it out. So I haven't heard of or have any type of side effects from using biotin, but I feel like it was great that you pointed it out so that people know, because it works for some people and it might not work for others.
But the other important thing to note for me was the milligrams. So the pill that was, somebody sent me a pill to try, and I tried it. And when I looked at the back, the biotin was 1,000 milligrams. And I think that the ones that I bought on Amazon, they weren't that much. They were like 500 milligrams. So if I could just take one, it's fine. But when I take two, for me, it's too much for and then like instantly my face breaks out.
Wow. That's actually a pretty good point. I've seen that it actually goes all the way to like 10 milligrams. So you 10,000 milligrams. So you say that you took one gram or 1 milligram?
I think that it said like 1,000 milligrams. Okay. But I'm not sure. I have to look. But for sure, it's like, I know that for me particularly, I have to take like half of the dosage that the pills that come packed with it do. So I buy the biotin by itself, and I have to regulate it, or just don't take it at all.
I see. That's actually that's a really good point that you point. That's good that you pointed it out, because I hadn't heard of any interaction with taking biotin. So that's something I'm probably gonna take into consideration. Well, I'm definitely gonna take into consideration now when telling people about supplements, because that's one of the things I do tell people. It's like, hey, biotin. Sorry, biotin. Take biotin, and what that's. Thank you for letting me know. And yeah, that's what you use, because I honestly thought that mostly, biotin, whatever, like I was saying, since it's water soluble, some people don't quite mind taking a lot of milligrams, but there are some people that are more sensitive to it than others, as I see. So,
yeah. So you're welcome, my love. We have another question. What is the product that is good for scalp tenderness? That's my sister. My niece has super kinky, beautiful, super kinky hair, but she does not like don't touch her hair. Like, just don't touch it. It's better if you just walk away, because
she's very sensitive, like on her scalp, or
yes.
So I think it's better to use like very lightweight products if you have like scalp sensitivities. And stuff like, I feel like, I know I keep repeating it over and over, but things like, not sure how old she is, but the essential oils are like,
she's young. She's like 7. Yeah, 6, 7.
Oh, okay. So I feel like, yeah, like using leave-ins and probably not using too many products. If you can just use one as a leave-in in comparison to, well, sometimes I use 3. So I would say it's better to use one so it doesn't weigh down her hair, and so that her scalp wouldn't be as sensitive, because I feel like that might be one of the, a problem if you apply a lot of products in it or try pulling it too much as you're detangling it.
Yeah. So, Jenny said, please do a video showing some of the products you guys use. So I was actually going to ask you that. What are your current products, and how do you feel, or how often do you change them? Because I know that I think that you should change it every so often.
Right.
So, what kind of products do you use?
What some of my favorite products, some of my favorite brands are Camille Rose, TGIN, and I believe Cream of Nature are some of my favorite products. And I do tend to change them all the time, because your hair tends to get used to a product, let's say. So you might use one today, I need not might work the same way later on, probably like next week if you use it. So I would use one product today, and I will use another one next week, for example, as I do my wash and go. And if maybe I could use the same product I use today, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, so that your hair doesn't get tired and it doesn't weigh it down. I think it's important to do cocktail mixtures, because it's like you quite don't know. Sometimes people don't pay attention to the ingredients, and if you're using like harsh ingredients on products, if you're able to switch between them, it's gonna prevent how much your hair is going to be affected.
Yeah, I think, is it important to just try introduce one product at a time to your routine to see how that product, affects your hair?
Yes, definitely. I think it's good to use it, and it just depends too, because if you're using like a product that's brand new and you haven't tried it on your hair, I think it's important to use it. If you want to stick to that one for once or twice and then switch it just to see how it works for your hair. But it always works differently for people, but I feel like that's the best way to do it. It's always good to switch in between products.
So there's my sister-in-law, she wants to know, which products do you recommend for very dry hair that gets tangled easily?
Very dry hair, I would say Camille Rose. It's amazing. The leave-in conditioner they have is super moisturizing, and it's not as extremely thick, and I feel like it has a perfect scent. And I tend to be very, very picky with ingredients, so I tend to look at the first 5, 6 ingredients. If it doesn't have natural oils or butters or things that I can definitely understand, I tend to not take the bottle, because you just want to use the most natural things for yourself. And same thing with supplements and multivitamins. It's best to use things that come from fruits and vegetables so that your body absorbs it better. So I feel Camille Rose is one of those brands that are complete, very natural ingredients in them. And I feel like it's worked for so many people, and they've given me so many good feedbacks about it. The curling custard, it's sort of like a gel, and I feel like that one, if you use just that one, it's perfect as well, because it will define your hair, it gives you moisture, and it has a really good balance of ingredients that you don't quite need to pair it up with anything else. If you want to, you can just use it by itself.
So someone, Afro Sani, wants to know if you would dye your hair. That's a good question.
That's a pretty good question. Yeah, that's a good question. So I actually I had highlights on my hair a couple of years ago, and I really wanted to do it again, but I don't want to do it until my hair is completely nourished, and I know that I can take good care of it once it's dyed. Because if your hair is dyed, you don't need to take a little extra more love to it. You gotta give it more love, and you gotta take more care of it than if your hair is just without dyes and stuff like that.
What color, or just highlights?
I think the highlights I had, I really liked them. They were sort of between blondish, and I had my hair a little brownish too. So, but now after that, I was a little traumatized because my hair did not behave the same as it did before. So you just gotta keep that in mind.
What happened
With the hair? Oh, I used peroxide. This is it's one of those things that you don't want to talk about for curly hair. I did dye it. I did use peroxide, and I was trying it with my mom. She did a great job. It was just, I knew that it was my fault because I agreed to it. And by doing that, it took me so long to be able to actually see my hair come out as it was before. And I had to do a lot more deep conditioners. I had to use a lot more oils. and I had to just take a lot more care than usual.
I think that answers your question, because we had another questions about what would you recommend for someone trying to get their curls back, and I think you just answered it because you kind of lost it, right? By applying the damage to your hair, you kind of lost the bounciness, and the pattern, I'm sure, was different.
Right. I would say like certain patterns that were nicely curly, and then there were other parts where the highlights where they were mostly straight. And that's when I noticed that I really messed up my hair. So I would just, dip condition my life away until I see that there are some changes in it.
Angeli said that she loves the Cameo Rose leave-in conditioner.
Oh my gosh, yes, girl, yes. Me too. Actually, like, there's very few brands that I'm really passionate about, and I don't mind, like, even if we're not getting paid or sponsoring it, I know that it can help other people, and I know that they're so, like, their quality is so good that I know that I can help, a lot more people, and they could definitely use it. And it's just so natural that, I love things that are just completely naturally derived, because it's the things that, you want to stick to in your natural hair journey.
How do you do your dyes? If you are going to dye your hair now, how would you do it? Because somebody asked, have you tried natural henna to dye your hair?
I was actually just thinking about that. Henna was like one of the things that I would say if I want to dye my hair, I would usually use, because I noticed that henna doesn't penetrate, like it doesn't go inside the cuticle of your hair. It does like last, a pretty good amount of time, but it doesn't do the same thing as with like peroxide colors that have peroxide in it. Because like we were talking about with porosity, what the regular ones with peroxide does is make it even wider, so it makes it hard to absorb and to obtain moisture. So I feel like using henna is one of the things that it doesn't just, it actually gives you more good benefits than anything else, because it gives you a good amount of like replenishment for the hair, and it doesn't affect the hair cuticle. So I feel like if I were to dye my hair, I would usually use henna.
So the thing is that when you have curly hair, it's really hard to go to a salon and have the proper care. So where would you go to get henna, for example? Like if I want it, whenever it grows, like I know that it'll start growing. It'll start growing soon. I know. I think that before I ask you the where you're gonna go to get it done, I think the thing that I would want to say is I know that my hair is going to take a while to grow, and that's one of the things that everybody going through a curly hair type of journey needs to understand. The hair will take a while to grow, period. End of story. It's just going to take time. So I can't expect my hair to be back to normal tomorrow. I have to wait. It's not like in 2 weeks I did this procedure, or I'm taking care of my hair for 2 weeks. Where are my curls? It doesn't work that way. You have to make sure that you do it for a very consistent period of time, even if it's for like 6 months to a year. I mean, at least that's how long it took me for all of the damage to go away, and then I still had to cut it. So let's go back to
a great point. Yeah, it does require a lot of patience, a lot of love, a lot of dedication, and just hope that your hair is gonna comb, it's gonna grow, and it's gonna probably be nice and beautiful. You just need to have a lot of like patience, like I was saying, and know that it's not gonna happen like a day, the next day. So I think that that's important to tell people as well, because some people tend to get desperate, and it's like, oh my gosh, I use this product and my hair's not curling, so I'm done. I'm out.
Exactly.
It's like, please just wait like a month or something at least, to see if you some difference. But it definitely takes time. It's months. It's up to years.
Yeah. So Angeli, I said it at the beginning, but I'll share it again. I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I went through chemotherapy, and because of it, I decided to chop up all of my hair and just completely be bold, because they told me week 2 your hair's gonna go. And it was like a way for me to like take my own power and be in control, and chop it off.
That was so empowering that you did that. So empowering.
It was interesting, because then it grew back, then it was growing, and I was like,
right.
Why is my hair growing? This is weird. It's supposed to be gone. So like you have to. It's a lot of mental processes that goes through with my chemotherapy and my journey. And I think that when you are like me, I'm very go, right? So okay, I have cancer, cool. So what do I have to do? I have to do this, cool. This is what I'm gonna do. And like I stay on that pattern and I don't think of I could have died. You know what I mean? Like I don't think of the things because I just want a checklist and I want to go through that because it's easier for me and it's easier to face that. So when I
I think
took,
that's one of the
go ahead.
I'm so sorry, but I just have to say, I think that's one of the most beautiful things about you, that you are so optimistic, and it just shines and radiates over everybody else. And I feel like your character, your positivity, and your strength is what, inspires everybody. Like, I always look up to you, and it's just so empowering to see. And your positivity really just makes me like so happy. I love the way you look at things, and I feel like it's what people need right now, especially people that might be going through the same thing. It serves as a form of inspiration. So I just wanted to thank you
Thank
for
you, my
that.
love.
Yeah.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. I definitely try. I mean, it's not easy at all. It's not. But I try. Nelia, did the doctor say anything about your hair journey post cancer? No, they don't care about my hair post cancer. They just care about this is your this is what you have to do and that's it. They don't care about, oh, so afterwards you can do this and you can do no. I have to learn everything myself. I am glad that I went through a transition before where I damaged my hair. I think all Dominicans go through that. Like your mom makes you te pasa la plancha and does all of that stuff when you're really, really young because it's easier. And then you're like, okay, but I want my curls. And like you go through
Right.
this process of like learning how
Learn,
to.
right.
So I think that I'm a little blessed because I've already gone through it. So I just have to apply it again, which is going to be the hard thing. And waiting. That, oh, that,
I'm
the
excited to
waiting.
see,
Oh my goodness. Like, again,
what
I
the future, what the
hold
future
on. What did
holds.
you
And
say?
I'm just excited to see, your journey as you're going through all of this. Because I know that you are such a warrior that I'm sure you're gonna come out of this with like, stronger than ever, and also empowering us all. And even with your hair, I see that there's differences already. As when you started and you shaved your hair, I see like those little patterns coming on, and the little curls. So I am so excited to see later on.
I am. Thank you so much. I am very excited to see the curls because one of the things my sister told me was like, but your hair changed. Like it's so straight right now. And I'm like, because I don't have 4C, 4B hair. I have,
Mhm.
my pattern is different. So it's gonna be straight until it grows a little more and then it'll start getting shape.
Yes, right.
But it is very interesting to explain it to people because when they see my hair, they see it out and they see it curly and up, and they're like, "What do you mean you don't have that type of hair?" What? And I'm like, "It's because it's not like that." You now they understand. They're like, "Oh, yeah, my hair is different. It's just
That's true.
completely
Yeah.
different." I think we have one more question, and then we're
Mhm.
gonna have to wrap it up because I think we only get like an hour on this thing. Um,
Oh,
what are you personally doing or using to help your hair regrow? I am honestly not doing anything. I was trying to do the biotin, or somebody send me the pills to try the hair growth kind of nail growth kind of thing, and that's when I broke out. Literally, that was like 2 weeks ago, and I was doing something for my face as well, and I just cut everything off because I was like, something is not right with my body, so I have to cut everything else and like add things back one at a time. And because of all of that, and because I honestly don't know what's going to happen, I have to wait until the results come in June 11th. I'm not diving in to try anything. I'm just like waiting because every time I wake up in the morning, I go like this and I have hair in my hands. So I don't, the drugs are still in me and processing. So I'm just going to wait until it's over. Like I don't have to go back to chemo because I did do some research, and what I have read is that they won't give me chemo again. They won't, and especially not so soon after they just finished. So if anything, they'll give me another type of regimen or another type of drug or whatever, or radiation or something different. But I'm sure that's not gonna happen. So Um,
Que así sea.
I'm sure that's not gonna happen. Ya Diosito me curó y olvídate de eso. So, so I'm not doing anything for my hair growth. To be honest, that's why I wanted to do this because now I'm gonna do the castor oil and I'm gonna massage my hair and I'm gonna continue to do the tea tree oil. And I have to do a lot of massaging of my hair so that my hair can come back. So I think that's what I am going to do to try to make it regrow. If I had hair and I had damage, I would start doing this because I think is easier. What do you think, Angeli?
I think it's, I think it's good to do, like, to cut off the strands that, that doesn't quite help you. And I think it's the best way to go, to be honest.
Yeah, because it weighs it when you have like those straight pieces and it doesn't look good. Because I remember when I was going through an incision, I was like, but like I had like all of this, great, and then like the straight piece, and I'm like, nah, it has to go because it just doesn't look pretty.
Right. No, and yeah, just not only does it look pretty, but also it just weighs on your hair, like you were saying. It's just the longer you keep holding on to them. Let's say I have this chunk of transition in hair, it's just going to keep affecting the rest of your hair. So I think it's important to to cut it. And if you want to start little by little, you can always do that. A couple of months here, a couple of months there, as your hair is growing, just getting rid of those dead ends.
I think also protective styles, right? Because I'm waiting for my hair to go 3 inches. And as soon as it grows 3 inches, I'm putting braids.
I think that's amazing too. I mean, it does work for some people. I tend to have like a lot of migraines and like very sensitive like hair and scalp. And I think I only tried it once, but I think it will look so beautiful when you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see.
I'm just waiting 3 inches so that they can have enough to hold on to it, and that's it. I'm getting braids because I think that it's very important to let my hair grow naturally, especially after all of the harsh drugs that my body has been going through. It's important for me to like, okay, let me let my hair grow. And I think that what you said at the beginning was essential. You have to do it from the inside. So I have to make sure. I had to change my entire eating regimen, and I have just recently I was like, I'm gonna go vegan. And then I'm like, but I like eggs too much. I can't give that up. So, but I cut off beef, I cut off chicken, and I cut off the bulk of all of that, and I like salmon, so I'll probably just stick with salmon and eggs, because they don't make it easy for you to be vegan or for you to do all of that stuff.
Honestly, that's true. I'm vegetarian, so I'm kind of glad that you stopped eating meat, honestly, because I don't, I just feel like it's good for the environment. It's also good for yourself.
For your health.
Like, for your health, exactly. Right. And I feel like it's so essential to eat raw foods, to eat vegetables, and to have like a nice balanced diet, because everything, like you said, everything starts from the insides.
Exactly. Sorry, I keep turning my thing. I keep looking at everybody's message. We have like 1 minute and 55 seconds remaining. It's
my
like
gosh.
timing me out. It's like timing me out. Your sister's here.
Oh, hey sister, what's up? What's popping?
The last question before we go. We literally have like 1.5 minutes. Okay. She said, is there any tips for cutting your ends at home?
Okay, so honestly, me personally, I tried it once and it was a horrible idea. I would never try it again until I actually look for advice.
So, go ahead.
It works for, some people agree to doing it because they've developed the ability of doing it a couple of times and it will work for them. The time I did it, I realized my hair was like short here, long here. Although the day that I did it, everything looked even. After, when I washed my hair, everything was all over the place. So it was a lot. It just so very awkward. People were actually telling me, and I was like, how can people notice? It was just a couple of strands. And then I ended up doing, I'm just going to pick up my hair and go to a stylist to cut my hair because I cannot do it. But I do know some people that can help you. Let's Talk Curly here on Instagram, and also Curls by Cece. They're both stylists, and they both cut their own hair as well, and they show people how to cut it. So if you go into both of their pages, I'm pretty sure they can also help you to so you can cut your own hair at home. and I'm trying to learn from them as well. I saw them sort of like doing braids and then cutting it, or like twisting their hair, which I'm gonna try soon because I need to cut my hair. So I think it's a good idea, and it was a great question as well. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. We have literally 10 seconds. So, yes, we will do this live again because we still have to talk about where you're going to get your henna and a good place for people to go. So we have 2 seconds.
Great.
Thank you, everybody. If you stayed all the way through the end, I'm so happy because I'm sure you got some value out of that. I just wanted to pop in for a sec and say thank you so much for watching. Have a great, blessed day.